Hey, 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 it's your girl, Carmel Jean-Francois, coming at you from the New York City area. I am your health and wellness coach, and I come to you via fitness and nutrition. I'm a big advocate of that, and I'm all about picking up a set of dumbbells, right? Well, I have with me here today someone who is all about it. She thought she was healthy. She loved to exercise. She called herself the soccer mom, super wife, and she had her life together until one day something very crazy and interesting happened, and it left. I'm not going to give her story away because she's right here waiting to tell you her story and how she came upon or how she came out on the other side, and she calls herself the chronic illness warrior. Her name is Crystal Gayle, and I am so happy to introduce you to her this evening. So, Crystal, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so
Crystal,
much for
you're
this.
welcome. I remember hearing your story. I think it was in the clubhouse streets.
Yes,
And I
yes,
was like,
yes.
who is this woman? Like your voice, like what I heard that you had been through, and hearing the positivity and the hopefulness in your voice, I said, wow. So I started following you instantly, and I've been dying to just have a conversation with you. And 2 weeks ago, the light bulb came on.
Oh,
Carmel, you have a YouTube channel. You could talk to her, find out her story, and tell the world too,
yes,
or
yes.
or the 10 people that are following my YouTube channel. So before we get started, I want to ask everybody, like, comment, share, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And
Yes.
Crystal is going to tell you what she's up to, and give her a follow as well. So without anything further, I would love for you to start telling us your story, Crystal. There's something amazing that you had to overcome that
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done if I woke up in your shoes. So Crystal, take
It
it
was
away.
devastating. It was
Tell us.
devastating. Okay, so this all started in 2017. 2017, I was living my life, literally. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I left corporate to pursue that passion. That was a childhood passion of mine. So I left being a counselor and just started my dream of cosmetology. So it was about 5 years into cosmetology. I was living my life. And one day my feet just started going numb and tingling. And I had just purchased some shoes. I literally thought it was the shoes that I had purchased. So I took the shoes off. I put my little nursing shoes on. That's what they call them. So I could walk around the salon in those shoes. They're very comfy. But my feet never stopped hurting. And with me knowing my body, I could tell that my energy was getting low. Just something wasn't right. Something wasn't right. But being the busy mom, being busy wife that I was self-diagnosing. I was trying to self-diagnose. Well, maybe I need to drink more water.
Mm.
Maybe I need to sleep more because I knew those were two of the areas that I could increase. I could enhance my sleep, and I hardly ever slept. But I was like, maybe I need to stretch more. Maybe I need to stop running like 10 miles before I go to the salon. But the pain and numbness and tingling just kept progressing up my legs. Then it came into my hands and my forearms.
How long did it take for it to come up your legs and to your hands?
Oh, within about 2 weeks. So about,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
this was
not 2 weeks, 2 months. So yeah, slowly but
okay.
surely, in about 2 months, it was literally going up my legs, in my hands. I couldn't do haircuts anymore. It even hurt for me to shampoo my client's head because it was just numb and tingly. You
So
know,
and during that time, did you go to the doctor or anything? You just kind of tried to self medicate or whatever. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, I was just self-diagnosing. Google became my friend.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And I just didn't, I mean, I don't really, my doctor visits were checkups. And, that's what I went to the doctor for. I've always been a person to think you just go to the doctor, if something is really, really wrong, you don't know about. In this case, I should have done that. But I was just, going day by day doing what I had to do, what I needed to do, and I just did not go. And I should have gone. That's one thing that I will tell viewers. If you feel like something's going on with your body, something unusual, please go get it checked out, because I regret not going sooner.
Yeah. But you know what, Crystal? Like in our daily, like you said it, you're the soccer mom. You have two boys, right?
2 boys, yes.
And a husband. You're taking care of a home. You have a
Yes.
salon.
Yes.
Sometimes in our minds, you know, they always say hindsight is 20.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm dying to
And
hear the
at
rest
that
of it.
time, my husband was traveling with his job. So he was literally gone for 10 days at a time. So I was mom and dad. You know, I had to do all the sports, I had to do the PTA meetings. I didn't want my children to feel, just kind of left out in any type of way.
Yeah.
So I would do classroom moms some days, and, just putting everybody else's needs before my own. And
Exactly.
I'm an advocate now for self-care, putting
Mhm.
yourself first, because you
Mhm.
can't help anybody else if you don't help yourself
So
first.
true. So true.
So the story just takes a turn when one morning I woke up and I could not move.
At
I
all.
could not move from my neck down. You know how you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes and you go to get up? Well, I couldn't get up. And nothing, like my limbs just didn't work. I was terrified. I started screaming,
I can't
and
imagine.
I felt like I was buried alive. I was trying to move, but I couldn't move. I was screaming. So my husband, thank goodness he was in town at that moment. He ran in the bedroom and he was like, "What is going on?" And that's when I started telling him about how I had been feeling. And he was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I didn't know. Why didn't you say anything? And I was like, I just kept
You,
doing what I had to do
you
day to
didn't think
day.
there was anything to tell.
Didn't think there was anything to tell. So, he rushed me to the emergency room, and that started a long chain of doctor to doctor to doctor. I was being referred and passed off to doctors because no one could find anything wrong with me. Not only did they say that my blood work was fine, they said it looked great. They were like, "Your numbers are great. Everything." CAT scans, MRIs, like they just could not find anything. I literally saw 6 doctors. And the last doctor, I even saw a chiropractor because everything hurt. And I was like, well, maybe I just need an adjustment. A couple of adjustments will get me back on track. That didn't work either. And she was great.
During this whole time, you're seeing doctor after doctor, you're still paralyzed.
Oh, it was getting worse week by week. I was being rushed to the emergency room. Sometimes I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was having irregular heartbeats. Now, knowing what I know now, during that time, because I did have a neuromuscular issue, every nerve and muscle was being affected. So it was affecting my lungs, being able to fill up with air and breathe properly. It was affecting my heart beating properly. Everything was affected. My bladder stopped working properly. I had to wear adult diapers. Depends. Okay. Can you imagine? So, and this is literally what now? 3 months now? 3, 4 months. So, in the matter of 3, 4 months, I'm in a wheelchair wearing the pins. Some days I can't chew because my muscles would not
Right,
work.
right.
It was just, I had to be fed, I had to be bathed.
So you said that this was a neuromuscular disorder.
Hmm.
At the time, they were still trying to figure that out, right?
Yes,
That's
they
what
were
they
still,
found out later.
yes. So,
Okay.
the 6th doctor that I went to, he was a neurologist, and he said, okay, good news, bad news. I know that it's a nerve issue. Something's going on with your nerves, but I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to refer you. And then when I heard refer, I was like, oh, like, because each time I went to the doctor, it was telling my story all over again,
All
the
over again.
paperwork all over again. It was just, I didn't want to have to keep doing all that. The only thing that made me hopeful was he said this was a specialist.
Okay.
And she was one of 2 doctors in our state of Alabama that, was a specialist. So I was a little hopeful about that. So I was like, okay, I'll go to this specialist. She had a 9-month wait list. I said, Lord, I cannot wait 9 months. Like, I
Mm-mm.
literally thought I was going to die. I literally, because I was being rushed to the emergency room. I was having difficulty breathing. I was passing out, literally, like just fainting, passing out. It was devastating. So,
When were you passing out? Just during the course of the day?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You would just wake up and realize that you had been knocked out?
Yes, yes. I woke up one time to my kids crying. And I was like, what happened? Look, I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, what happened? They were like, Mom. My youngest son was telling my oldest son, help her, save her. Like, and I woke up like, what is going on? In the wheelchair, just slumped over, just passed out. When people would give me a bath, I would pass out sometimes in the bathtub. Like, so they could not leave me alone because they didn't
Yeah.
know when I would pass out.
Mhm.
It was crazy. It was
Well,
just
how long
crazy.
did you deal with all of this before? Okay, so you're paralyzed. You have this condition that's getting worse, and it's
Yeah,
attacking your organs, it's attacking
everything.
everything. And you've seen a sixth doctor, and he finally says, "I'm going to send you to a." She says that she's going to send you to a specialist. That specialist was finally able to hone in on exactly what was
Yes,
wrong. But
yes.
you know what started it? Like, where did that come from?
They don't know. They said it's not a cure. They said there's no cure for it. They don't know what causes it.
So is
There's
this something that is this something that's lurking that could attack you at any day again?
um that's a great question because through all of my research, I am now getting my holistic health certification. Just I have given myself over to research, and because it just didn't sit right to me
Yeah,
that nobody knew what was going on and my body was just attacking itself.
yeah.
That just didn't sit right with me. And I kept saying, God didn't create my body to just attack itself. Like
Right.
that's yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So, well, before I explain that, let me go back to the story. So I prayed that God would have to help me because I couldn't wait 9 months.
Yeah.
3 days later, the specialist office called and said someone had canceled and everyone else they called could not come in that soon because people were coming from out of town everywhere. So they
Oh,
asked if I could come in next week. I was like, yes, like, yes,
yeah.
I'll be there. Like, yes, yes, yes. So I went to see her. She wanted to hospitalize me immediately. She was like, oh my gosh, like, how are you? Like, and I kept telling her, I'd be going to the emergency room like every
Mhm.
other week is crazy. The only reason that the hospital wouldn't take me is because they were at full capacity. So the good thing about it is she realized that I live locally
Mhm.
and she wanted me to come back the next week to run all kind of muscle tests because after she did her exam, she kind of had a hypothesis of what was going on because she was a specialist in neuromuscular issues. So she wanted to run tests to see if she was correct.
Okay.
So the next week, like my whole family came into town and we all went, and she determined that I not only had one rare disease, I had two rare neuromuscular diseases. So one is called CIDP. Never heard of it, couldn't hardly pronounce it when she told
Mhm.
me. It stands for chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. A mouthful for a chronic situation of inflammation in my body that was destroying my nerves and muscles, causing the neuropathy. And the other one was myasthenia gravis. So the CIDP affects my limbs. The myasthenia gravis was affecting my facial muscles, which explained why I couldn't chew sometimes. Sometimes I couldn't open my eyes.
Mhm.
Like, just imagine you having to sit up with your eyes closed because you just can't even open your eyes. Like,
Because your facial muscles, they won't let you.
yep,
Mhm.
yep. So that's when I realized I already knew how interconnected everything was. I further knew after experiencing like everything is connected, all your muscles and your nerves. So some days nothing worked. Like I couldn't chew, I couldn't talk some days. Like it was just bananas.
So you didn't even know what you were waking up to on most days. Am I going to be able to talk today? Can I feed myself today? Can I walk today? Nothing.
Literally, can I drink water? Because some days I would choke so bad because of the muscles required to swallow. Literally. So the diagnosis came 9 months after all this started. So got the diagnosis. She came in like she was telling me the weather, just
Oh, by the way.
yeah. So all of my family was there. I lost it. Like I cried.
Yeah, because finally you know something. Oh.
I was grateful that I got a diagnosis, because going to all of those doctors, people were looking at me like, is she making this up? Like all her tests are coming back, but they could clearly see that I couldn't walk and I was in excruciating pain. It hurt when they would take my blood pressure. Like when the blood pressure cuff would squeeze my arm.
Yeah.
I cried because it hurt that bad. So they knew that, or unless I was just a great actress, so they could tell that I was in excruciating pain and I couldn't walk, but no one could find what was going on. So I was relieved that she gave me a diagnosis of something.
Yeah.
However, I say now that diagnoses are just names. They're just labels for inflammation, for acid in the body. It's just a name,
So Crystal, now it's 9 months later from the first time you felt that tingling sensation. You have a name for it. And what happened now? Did somebody come in with a new diet plan with you, exercise? What happened? What did treatment look like? Because you're walking today.
Yeah.
You're exercising again. You're in the gym.
Yeah.
I saw pictures on your Instagram of you learning how to walk again. So
yeah. And I'm working on running. That's my new thing.
I saw that. I saw your post. You were like learning to run again. I said, go girl.
So I am, my specialist says I am her only patient that's walking, that's not on any prescription medications. Right. The only patient, but she will not let me tell the other patients. She won't share what I did with the other patients at all.
Because what you did was probably nutrition wise, right?
Yep. Okay. So let me get to that. So she came in with the news, your body is attacking itself. It's attacking your nerves and muscles, which is causing the partial paralysis. You're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. You need to make your home handicap accessible. And she's just, just rattling this off. So I'm like, what? So, like, what are you saying? And, so I'm bawling. Like I am hysterical. My family's trying to console me, but they're crying too, like we're all devastated at this moment. So she walked out telling her nurse to write me a prescription for a high dosage of steroids and make me an appointment to come back in 30 days.
Oh my God.
That was it. Oh, and she said, if you have a crisis, go to the emergency room.
Oh my God.
And so we left like, what just happened? Like
no guidance, just like manage the pain and see ya. Good luck. Okay.
Yep. So when we left, my family immediately went to the pharmacist to get the prescription filled, because they're like, well, go ahead and start taking this. Maybe that'll help you, like just take the medicine. Maybe that'll help. So I started taking the medicine. 2 or 3 days later, I felt worse. I was like, this medicine is making me sick. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, but the doctor said, and then we're going to, she's going to see you back in 30 days. So just keep taking it. It was giving me insomnia. I just felt crazy on it. Like, I was like, I don't want to take this. And they were like, you got to take it. Like everybody was like, I get it. We don't know about this rare disease.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a specialist. So they wanted me to be a good patient, and take my medicine and do what the doctor was telling me to do. I did. I stopped saying anything about it.
Mm.
But one day I looked up the medicine, I researched it. And I was like, the side effects are muscle pain, joint pain.
Everything that you're already suffering from.
Okay. Headaches, migraines, insomnia.
And work.
Right. So I was just like, no. Bone deterioration, like those were the side effects. Okay.
So we only have a few minutes left,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I almost want I so want to hear your story, but I almost want to fast forward too.
Okay. Yeah, we can fast forward to it.
Was it the nutrition?
Yeah. Okay. So fast forward, she and I were getting into it about this medicine, you know. So she wanted me to try IV injections, a plasma treatment. I tried it. It sent me to the hospital for 2 weeks. Okay. In the hospital, I clearly heard God's voice speak to me, and he said, I told you it's not the medicine. If they don't know what caused this, why are you letting them just experiment on you with medicine? I left the hospital a totally different person. I started researching.
I have goosebumps, Crystal.
Literally. I changed my diet to now. Years ago, I was vegan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was a healthy vegan.
Okay.
Because I did all the artificial cheeses and the salt. Yeah, I did all that. So, and my family kept saying, you know, it's because you're vegan, you know, you need to eat meat again and you need to, and I'm just like, that ain't it either, you know, like,
yeah.
So what I did, I started, you know, whole foods, plant-based, you know, and I couldn't cook. I couldn't walk still. So my dad literally had to move in with us because my husband still traveled. And I would just tell him how to prepare my food. Okay. And he'd be like, baby, that's all you're going to eat till, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, it's filling though, because it's so nutritious. Like it's filling. Yes. But I was so weak and just everything in my body. So I was like an infant. I would eat, I would go to sleep. I would wake up, eat again, go to sleep. So in the beginning, I slept about 12, 14 hours a day during the day. That's not at night. That was just throughout the day. And then I would go to bed like, okay, it's time to go to bed at night.
Yes.
So I developed a sleep regimen to where even when I started getting a little better, I didn't sleep as much. But I was like, this is why newborn babies sleep so much, because their bodies are developing and so healing.
Now your body was healing and it needed the energy.
When I talk to people, I tell them to get deep sleep. Please get deep sleep. So that's one of the things I have incorporated. I now have a bedtime, okay? Like I have a bedtime. I have an alarm on my phone that's like, it's time for bed, literally. And I don't do what I used to do. You know how we go to bed and we turn the TV on, we want to fall asleep watching something. No, ma'am. Complete darkness, complete quiet, unless I'm listening to some type of vibrational something or the earth sounds, you know, rain or whatever. If I just can't sleep, but I'll lay there with my face mask on in complete darkness and fall asleep and wake up and feel so refreshed the next morning. Okay. No phones in the bed, scrolling. No, I have a bedtime. I go to bed. So it was the diet. It was me incorporating deep sleep, sleep. And the stress. Okay. Stress. When I used to hear people say stress will kill you, it sounds so cliche-ish. You know, it's just, girl, it will. So me being me, I had to research, well, how exactly does stress affect you? I have learned stress will weaken your immune system so much. And that's how we are susceptible to other things happening. So I've had so much stress in my life. And the thing that happened before I got ill was my niece passed away. My 6-year-old, she was 6 years old. There was nothing wrong with her at all. It was sudden. She asked my sister for an early birthday party. Her birthday's in July. She asked for a party in May. And my sister, being the best mom ever, gave it to her, and she passed away. She was rushed to the emergency room a couple of hours after the party, and she did not make it. The doctor said she had a blood clot that traveled to her respiratory system and shut it down. So she knew, that baby knew, because she asked for the early birthday party. But it was so devastating. It was so traumatic, and I just didn't handle it well. I hurt for my sister. You know, I had my own feelings about it, but my sister, being that was my sister's only child, she had a complete hysterectomy, so she cannot have any more children. I wept for my sister. So the trauma from that, you know,
and your own life, and just things that's happening in your own life,
day to day. So
Crystal, you are an amazing woman, and I'm hoping so. You said that you're taking this certification course, or you already took it? Did you already?
I'm in it now. Because so many people have been reaching out to me. I just wanted to get the credentials, you know, with it. So I am becoming certified in holistic health coaching.
In the holistic health coaching.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, because then you'll be able to help so many people who don't know what's happening to them, who's suffering from chronic conditions, and their doctors are looking at them like they're crazy and like you're making it up. Like,
and just, okay, well, let's try this prescription. Okay, that one did. Okay, let's try this prescription.
Right. So just like you said, they're experimenting on you. You're a guinea pig to see, you know, what the lab results come back. And you're part of the statistics that they're putting out there when they say this is what can happen when you're on XYZ drug.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, thank you. So you went vegan. And you watched what you ate. Of course, you got plenty of rest. You started taking care of self.
And I begged for physical therapy. The doctor didn't even want me to do physical therapy because she was like, you're a vegetable, basically, you know, like you're in a wheelchair, you can't. So I said, let them tell me no, you know, let them. So she wrote a prescription for physical therapy. And my first assignment was just learning how to stand up out of the wheelchair, to try to transfer to the toilet, you know, just some type of independence, you know. So that's how we started. And each and every day I would do bed exercises. Like I couldn't even lift my arm. Like I couldn't put on the shirt. I couldn't lift my arms.
So your muscles had atrophied, right? Because you had not used them in so long. So from the time you were diagnosed, because, okay, so you woke up with this condition 9 months later, when it got the absolute worst, you were finally diagnosed by the specialist. How long did it take from diagnosis to you actually starting to feel better again, become vegan, feel better again, and go to your first physical therapy? And then we have to, because I have an appointment right after.
Okay.
But I hate to cut this story short, because number one, it's important. And number two, it's so intriguing. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. We could do a part 2 one day too, if you're up to it. But it took a while, because I was so bad off. I was partially paralyzed. They told me I would never walk again. So I don't give people unrealistic expectations. And I tell people everybody's body is different and everybody's lifestyle is different. So from the time that I got the diagnosis and I begged for therapy, it was about 6 months in between the diagnosis and therapy. And then from like my first day in therapy, it took me about another 8 months to transition from the wheelchair to a walker. And when I say transition from it, I was holding on to that walker for my dear life. But like I couldn't do it. I still needed to be in a wheelchair, to be honest. But I was holding on to the walker because I was so determined. Like I was so determined. And my doctor initially, going back when she diagnosed me, she told me that I needed to see a psychiatrist because I was not accepting this. I told her, I said, my background is in psychology. I am not going. She told me I needed to be on antidepressants. And I guess just so that I could listen to her and do whatever she said. Because I was that patient that had questions, that was like, nope, I'm not doing this. Girl, she even called my pharmacist to see if I was getting the prescriptions. She called me one day and she was like, your pharmacist said you haven't picked up prescriptions. I'm like, what in the stalker world is going on? Like,
Crystal, can we set something up for part two? I want to pick up exactly where we left off. And I'm deadly serious. Some people are like, we're gonna have to continue this conversation, and you never.
No, I'm serious too. Yeah. I wouldn't have said it if I didn't mean it.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna pick up exactly where we just left off. But the fact that they're thinking now she needs to accept it. They were probably wanting to put you on the table and just like do something to your brain. So you
literally, yeah. I've heard of people doing that though. Yeah.
Okay, girl. Yeah. All right. So for all of our listeners, look at this beautiful woman that's sitting beside me. Look at the smile on her face. In 2017, she woke up. Her fingers, her feet were tingling, and numbness crawled up her body. Yeah. And in 9 months, it took them. She was paralyzed.
Yeah.
Paralyzed.
Yeah. Literally.
Couldn't move. Sometimes couldn't breathe. Couldn't. Yeah. Swallow, couldn't chew, couldn't even open her eyelids.
Yep.
Her doctors told her she was a vegetable. Yep. And then wanted to give her prescription medication because she wouldn't accept that. But Crystal, you know what? You just don't know about me. That is your theme song right now. Say, what? You telling me what? No. Crystal said no. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to have a part two because she changed all of that around. I'm thoroughly impressed. Everybody, tap into Crystal. Crystal, tell us where we can find you on Instagram.
Okay, on Instagram, my name is @Crystal Gayle. Crystal Gayle on Instagram. So
I'm going to put it in the comments or the show notes or the description, whatever. So you all could see it there, and just give her a follow, show her some digital love, and let's cheer Crystal on her way because you are currently in the process of learning how to run again. Am I right?
Yes.
It's been a long battle, but look at that smile. If that doesn't convince you that anything is possible, don't listen to those doctors. And nutrition is key.
Oh my goodness.
Is key.
Oh
nutrition
my goodness.
Is key.
Is key.
Crystal, I know we had a little bit bump, like we had some technical difficulties.
Right. They didn't want us to get this message out.
They didn't want us to get this message out, but it's out there, Crystal. And we're going to continue this conversation sooner than later. All right. Thanks for joining me this evening. All right. So we'll talk real soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.